Hi, everyone, and welcome to Sentinel Sports Extra, Cleveland Guardians Weekly Report. No analytics here. I'm your host, Tim Shirer, publisher and founder of the Lake County Sentinel. Some want to, deny they ever worked for this, but because they think they're better now. But who cares about them? Here we go. The week went much better for the Guardians than I thought it would. I predicted they would go 1-5. It's now, I believe, the sixth consecutive week I was wrong. But I think this was the first week in 3 weeks that I predicted less wins than they actually got. So good that I was, I'm glad I was wrong. I thought San Francisco would be ugly, and I didn't think Oakland would be much better, but they won both series, which that was a refreshing development after the complete disaster in Seattle. So recapping that series, they went 2-1 again. They went 2-1 against the Giants. They outscored the Giants by 2 runs in the series, 8-6. And then against the Athletics in Sacramento, they went 2-1, and they outscored the Athletics 8-7. So in the last 6 games of the road trip, they outscored their opponents 16-13, which is good, but you still only scored 16 runs in 6 games. That's not even 3 runs per game. That's not going to cut it. But, of course, Mr. Analytics Stephen Vogt, he said the other night after they won, let's focus on the positive because we won. But he wants to focus on the positive even when they get embarrassed. We're not dumb. I said to somebody this week, well, my son, in fact, and then I mentioned it to a couple of other people, the Guardians are starting to be, this season, are starting to be very similar to the Browns, where they're going to convince you that things are good even when they're not. The team isn't very good right now. I don't care that they were 4-2 in their last 6 games. Figures you had to come down now. But that's just. But they haven't been good in their last 6 games. They won. They're 4-2, but they scored 16 runs. 16 runs, people. That's not good. Think of that. That is less than 3 runs a game. Thankfully, the pitching staff has been really good because this team can't hit. And a lot of it is because Stephen Vogt and his platooning crap. Oh, look at John Kenzie Noel now that he's playing every day in Columbus. He's hit 4 home runs in 12 games. He's hitting over 300 down there because he's playing every day. And don't give me the excuse it's because he's facing AAA pitching. No, it's because he's playing every day. You cannot be a big league power hitter and play twice a week and be expected to succeed. Is this organization that dumb that they don't understand that? It's ridiculous. I'm truly convinced they hate power hitters. I'm truly convinced that they absolutely hate power hitters because up until this past weekend, Manzardo was getting crapped on too, just like John Kenzie Noel was. Once David Fry came off the injured list, Kyle Manzardo was getting crapped on, and they weren't playing him. Just like Noel. It's just stupid. You would think common sense would prevail. Stephen Vogt played in the major leagues. You would think he would know this. This is why it makes me think more and more that the front office is telling him what to do. that he's kind of just a yes man, and to their analytics obsession. And, his little Napoleon, Craig Albernays, who was on the staff in San Francisco and it failed miserably. The platooning situation failed miserably in San Francisco after the first year. First year went well. Then it failed miserably. So, but we're going to do it here. They are 11 games worse than they were last year at this time. At this time last year, they were 50-26, and in first place, of course. Now this year they are in second place. They're 8.5 games behind the Tigers. Then they are tied for the wild card, but they actually have the Mariners have the tiebreaker over them. So they're actually not tied for the wild card, and they're still minus 23 in run differential. But even though they went 4-2 this past week, I'm still not believing. I don't see them hitting enough consistently to make the playoffs. I don't see them making the playoffs unless they stop doing the stupid platooning crap. It's not working. Okay? Here's my answer to this whole problem. As much as I like Carlos Santana, you trade him at the deadline. You play Manzardo every single day at first base. Every single day. You DH David Fry, and you either trade or DFA Nolan Jones, and you either bring up Chase DeLauder or John Kenzie Noel. That's it. That's what they need to do. Why they traded for Nolan Jones, I'll never know. And don't give me he had a couple good games here. He drove in runs yesterday. Who cares? Nolan Jones is not the long-term answer in right field. They need to cut ties with him, trade him, do something, release him. I don't care. Get rid of Nolan Jones. They should have never brought him back. Oh, Tyler Freeman's hitting well in Colorado now that he's getting to play. Last I saw, he was hitting over 400. Yes, it's a small sample, but boy, what I think the Guardians could use a guy who's hitting 400 right now. Oh, I guess he didn't hit for enough power for them. Are you kidding me? The organization that hasn't given a crap about power for however many years said they traded a guy because they didn't think he was going to hit for enough power? What a bull crap excuse. What a bull crap. There was something they didn't like Tyler Freeman simply because Tyler Freeman wasn't one of their big prospects that everybody talked about. So they just figured, we'll trade him. We'll trade him. We'll just get rid of him. It's ridiculous because Tyler Freeman, I talked about it last show. Tyler Freeman's a really good teammate. He's a really good teammate. And they talked about that last year and when Francona was here, that the clubhouse matters. Well, apparently it doesn't matter anymore because they traded one of the best teammates away. Tyler Freeman at 100 at bats now, since he started to play, is hitting .323. He's got 6 doubles, a triple, a home run, 10 RBI. He's walked 11 times and struck out 9. That wasn't good enough for them? That wasn't good enough for them? Are you kidding me? That's unbelievable. That wasn't good enough for them? I mean, it's ridiculous. They traded this guy away for a guy that they apparently didn't think was very good 3 years ago when they traded him. So now they traded to get him back? I mean, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to take a look here at Nolan Jones statistics. Tyler Freeman played center field, so he could play center field. Let's see where old Nolan Jones's average is at. I'm going to tell you, it's probably not .323. So Nolan Jones, I got to go down quite a bit here, and 176 at bats. He's got 3 home runs. So that's the power they traded for. He's got double the at bats almost as Tyler Freeman, and he has 3 home runs. He's got 19 RBI in more than almost double the at bats, and he's hitting .216. Oh, and Nolan Jones has struck out 51 times and walked 20 times. That was a good deal? You had a guy in Tyler Freeman that could play anywhere in the infield and center field. And you traded him for Nolan Jones? I just gave you the stats, people. So don't tell me that Nolan Jones, like that deal's working out. That deal's not working out. Tyler Freeman's playing every day now, and he's hitting .323. Okay? Every day, and he's hitting .323. He's walked 11 times and struck out 9. You double his at-bats, that's 18 strikeouts and 22 walks. That would be 2 walks more than Nolan Jones. And it would be 33 less strikeouts than Nolan Jones. But I guess those 2 more home runs that he's hit make him a much better power hitter than Tyler Freeman. I mean, like I said, this Guardians front office and manager BS they're giving us about these winter moves, they're starting to become like the Browns. They are starting to become like the Cleveland Browns. Telling you a bunch of bull crap. They got worse over the winter, people, okay? Whether they tell you that or not, they got worse over the winter. And I am the last person to criticize this front office over the last 10 years. But they've earned it this time. They've earned it. They had a terrible winter. They got Ortiz and Ciccone. I'll give them that. But they traded away clubhouse guys. And don't tell me that I think if they had kept this team almost exactly the same, they would have a better record. They would definitely have a better record. They would. Tyler Freeman could play almost every day in a utility role. John Kenzie Noel could have been the right fielder. But no. Kyle Manzardo could have played first. Nope. They got to go and screw it up and go backwards. They went backwards, people. They went backwards over the winter. I'm sure the analytics people think they didn't. They probably think they got better because what do they know? They only look at a bunch of numbers. And what the numbers tell me is they're 11 games worse than last year. So did they get better? No, they didn't get better. So we got upcoming this week, we got Toronto and St. Louis coming into town. And that will be, they'll both be 3-game series. And Toronto will come into the series 41-36, 4 games behind the hated New York Yankees. And then they are plus 1.5. They're a game and a half up on the wild card. Their run differentials -10. That's not surprising with Chris Antonetti with Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins in charge, because they come from the tree of not being able to score runs. They're 4-6 in their last 10, and they lost 1 in a row. The probables for the series tomorrow at 6:40. Logan Allen will go up against Eric Lauer. Allen is 5-4 with a 4.21 ERA. Lauer is 3-1 with a 2.29 ERA. He's got the best ERA of the 3 Blue Jay pitchers that are pitching, so I expect them to get to him. And then in game 2 on Wednesday, Gavin Williams will square off against Max Scherzer, who will be making his second start of the year. Scherzer only made 1 start this year. He pitched 3 innings, 2 runs, and then went back on the injured list. He's 40 now. He's a great competitor. If you don't like Max Scherzer, I'm not sure you like baseball. But Gavin Williams will be up against him. Gavin Williams, 5-3, 3.59 ERA. I think Gavin Williams is beginning to become the guy that they thought he was when they drafted him, or that he could be when they drafted him. So that's good. If you ask me, he's the ace of the staff. That game will also be at 6:40. And then the getaway game on Thursday at 1:10 at Progressive Field. Kevin Gausman will go for the Blue Jays. He's 5-6 with a 4.60 ERA. He's pitched well against the Guardians in the past, so we'll see if they can change that. And then the guy who everyone wants to call the ace, who is not the ace, Tanner Bybee will face off against Gausman. Bybee is 4-7 with a 3.86 ERA. So expect the Blue Jays to be winning at least 1-0 after the first inning when Bybee gives up his traditional first inning home run. No, I'm not being negative. I'm being honest. All right. I wish people would stop calling Tanner Bybee their ace. That's stupid. That's stupid. Is he a good pitcher? Yeah, he's a good pitcher. He's not an ace. Not an ace. So, and then after that, Friday, the Cardinals will come to town. 3 games, 3 different game times. Let's see if Tom Hamilton complains about that, because he complains about that always on the road when there's start times that are different for every game. Tom Hamilton always complains about that when they're on the road. But let's see if he complains about it here and when it's in Cleveland, when his employers do it. So the Cardinals will come in they're 42-36 right now. 4.5 games behind the Cubs. They're in 3rd place. They're 1 game out of a wild card spot in the National League. They're a plus 34 run differential. They're 6-4 in the last 10, but they've lost a game. They lost their last game too. So the All-Star balloting came out today. Again, the second phase, the second announcements of the All-Star balloting came out, and Jose has the sixth most votes in Major League Baseball. He has the sixth most votes. He has 1,780,631. He's now over 1 million ahead of the cheater Alex Bregman, who's now on the Red Sox. He is 226,000 and 247 votes ahead of Alex Bregman. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I have never been an Alex Bregman fan, and I never will be, even if he were to get traded to the Guardians, which hopefully he never will. Still fifth. You got Aaron Judge at first, of course. The heavily promoted Aaron Judge. And then you got Riley Green of the Tigers. Javier Baez is now third in the outfield voting. How about that? A guy whose career seemed dead last year. And then Mike Trout is fourth, and Stephen Kwan is fifth. Kwan is 91,000 votes behind Javier Baez. So if we want to get Stephen Kwan there, Guardians fans are going to have to step up, because this voting, I believe, does end relatively soon. The first phase ends, I think, on the 26th. I'm pretty sure that's when I saw that it ends. Maybe it's the 28th. But it ends soon. So if you're going to vote for Stephen or for Stephen Kwan to go to Atlanta to the All-Star game, then you got to vote now. Because he's got to pass Javier Baez. So we got some minor league stuff. John Kenzie Noel is hitting well over 300 now at AAA. He's played 12 games down there. He's playing every day. Imagine that. He's playing every day. And he's hitting well. Because that's what happens with power hitters. If they play every day, they hit for power. And some even hit for average. So, but, keep screwing him over like the Guardians have done. And I almost just want him to keep him down to Columbus. I honestly, as much as I would love to see him up here and producing, I don't think he's ever going to get that chance here, because they're not smart enough to realize what he could become. They are not smart enough to realize what he could become. They're really good with pitching. They are. They're terrible with hitting. This front office doesn't understand power and power hitting. So I almost hope that maybe they could package him with someone else, and they trade John Kenzie Noel at the deadline. And then all the people that said crap about him can shut up when he hits home runs against the Guardians, because he will. So he's hitting well down there. I find this one ironic. 2023 sixth-round draft pick out of Wake Forest, center fielder Tommy Hawk. Yes, Tommy Hawk. Is hitting 309. He's reportedly getting called up to Lake County to start their series tomorrow. There's some impressive numbers here. He doesn't hit for power. He doesn't. I think he might have 11 doubles. He doesn't hit for power. But he's walked 53 times. And even more impressive, and he cut it down from last year, he has He has only struck out 44 times. He struck out less than Nolan Jones. He's only struck out 44 times. But we're not even talking about that. He's hitting 309. We're not even going to, that's not even the big deal. That's not even going to caught people's attention. We are in the middle, well, we're in mid-June now. We're near the end of June. Okay? He's stolen 63 bases. He stole 63 bases at Low A Lynchburg. Yeah, for the Hillcats. He's been caught 5 times. So he's 63 out of 68. They moved him up. So he's going to be at Lake County. So those hacks could promote him. The hacks at Lake County that are running Lake County, they're going to promote him. They'll promote him. They'll drain him of any ounce of respectability there at Lake County with the captains, with the disaster organization that's become. I had someone tell me last week that they had tickets for years for the captains. They would go there all the time. And, I covered the organization. I covered the captains for 20 years. Thankfully, almost 20 years of it was with the great original owners. And like a month, not even a month and a half with the new owners before they tossed me out because they didn't like, me questioning things and asking them things. So they tossed me out. Banned me from the facility, which is beautiful because, they're disgusting. I could tell you so many things about them. But they're a joke. And now that's where Tommy Hawk's going to get to play. Hopefully he'll play really well and he'll spend just a minimal amount of time there. And, maybe he could have some, they could do some, he could go to one of these psychics or whatever that drain your memory. So he'll be able to forget about his time at Lake County because it's a terrible organization right now. And the GM is one of the worst human beings I've ever met in my life. And so there he is. And good for the fans who still go. This one fan said that he drives down to Akron because tickets are too expensive. He told me that he could go to a Guardians game for the same price as a captain's game. Are you kidding me? One of their owners told me that the fans here will adjust to their West Coast ideas. They're going to run it like things on the West Coast. The fans here will adjust. No, they won't. No, they won't. When you charge way too much, you're going to get crowds like you get. Oh, and that's nobody showing up. So, Tommy Hawk got promoted, though. Could you imagine if he was with the organization when they were called the Indians? What they could have done with that? His name? It's unbelievable, really. But that's pretty much all we got this week. Oh, I better make my prediction for the upcoming week. They're playing the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. They played well last week, but they still haven't convinced me. So I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go 3-3 for the week. Because I think 3-3, 4-2, 3-3, that's their high water mark right now. They're no better than that. So I'm going to say they'll go 3-3 against the Cardinals and the Blue Jays. And they're just tread water. And, next Monday we'll talk about it again. And maybe I could give you some more tidbits about the ownership in Lake County and the management. You guys have a good week. We'll talk to you later.